It's interesting to hear you reference sort of the immersion or the introduction of new technologies into the practice that presumably were designed to make practice more efficient, have caused some of this degradation in the relationship between the doctor and the patient. So what makes AI different?
The first premise that you had, which is that the technology, the main one being electronic health records, were introduced to make things more efficient, that actually is flawed
Okay.
because it wasn't done for that. It was done for billing purposes. So it was part of the business
Depends how we
model,
define
right?
efficiency, I guess.
Yeah. Efficiency, it wasn't for, better care. It was
Fair enough.
better
Fair enough.
capture for billing. And essentially it still is. Now, why is the AI technology, which is counterintuitive, why is that going to promote the humanity in medicine and bring back the patient-doctor relationship as it once existed? So the reason that's the case is it has the ability in many different dimensions to first alleviate the data clerk function, bring back face-to-face contact, the gift of time. It also provides for patients autonomy or much more charge, much more democratization of medical stuff, their data, capturing their data and processing it, interpreting it, and then a bunch of other things that we can get into. But the main point here is that there's many opportunities that here we can harness the AI tools to recreate a medicine that is what it's supposed to be. Why we went into practice medicine, why patients expect to have the sense that they're being cared for and that we can provide the care that we believe is essential.
I'm interested in that relationship between the introduction of the technology and productivity. And I think there's often a paradox with some of these technologies in that we think they're going to free up all this time to do all these wonderful things, but we end up just doing more of something else or working faster. Or, I mean, I certainly feel that in a lot of the technologies that are introduced into my workflow, whether it be various data processing tools or chat tools, whatever they might be. And how do we distinguish between productivity tools that just make us busier versus ones that actually enable time and deliberation and the things you think we need more of in our system?
Let me see if I can try to unpack that. So if you look at some of these synthetic note capabilities, by synthetic note, the conversation between doctor and patient during a clinic visit, is made into a note that is far better than any notes that exist today. But it's beyond that. So firstly, it has the audio links for the patient to go back to, because oftentimes what's discussed, people forget or they don't really understand. So they have that transcript and the audio links to listen. And it's in their at their level of language and education, culture, or whatever. Now, that's just the beginning of it, because this synthetic note then goes ahead and schedules the follow-up appointments, does pre-authorization for insurance companies, which is an issue here in the US, a big issue. It does tests and procedures that need to be set up, and it even nudges the patient about the things that were discussed during the visit subsequently. For example, as a cardiologist, it might be, what were your blood pressures on such and such days after the visit that we discussed, and brings back that data to the physician. So that digitized note, not the electronic health record, but rather the AI, natural language processing, it's already in places where it's widely being used. The average is 3 hours reduction of data clerk work. And there's no keyboard, there's no screen, because you're now face to face, eye to eye with the patient. So this is just the immediate reward of just getting better communication in that time together. The other part of the question is, if we're more efficient, then aren't the overlords that are fixated on revenue going to say, oh, now you see more patients in any unit time, or read more scans or slides or whatever you're supposed to do. And that's where we have to stand up for that. This has been compromised to such a terrible extent that we can't let that happen. This is our big chance. This is it.